Well, a very good afternoon, ladies, gents, boys and girls. Welcome aboard, or welcome back aboard the Dark Venture back towards Brixham. Now, I want to apologise about this running slightly late, but as you can see, the large numbers today are making unloading and loading slightly longer on this narrow one-road service. So I want to apologise about that, but I can promise you we will be in Brixham sometime before dark. Now, before we go much further, I do need to give you all a brief safety announcement. Now, the safety announcement itself is nothing to worry about. Please just inform you this vessel is fully certified by the MCA, which is the Maritime Coast Guard Agency, and does carry all the necessary life-saving apparatus. Life rafts, life rings can be found on the top deck of the vessel. Life jackets can be found in various positions around the vessel, clearly marked off as the box seating. These do come with on the instructions. In the very likely event of emergency happening again today, you will be noted by 7 or more short flash on the ship's horn. On hearing that, we ask you please to stay calm, please stay seated, and follow any instructions given to you by myself or one of the crew. Now you will have to listen very carefully, as you usually find us waving and shouting from the shore. On a more serious note, any instructions will be given to you by the PA system, such as commentary. Now, on the way across the bay today, you are more than welcome to walk around the vessel, but please be very careful going up and down the stairs. If you're going in and out of the saloon area, please be very careful with clearly marked trip hazards. For those who do have small children, please keep them supervised at all times, both can be very dangerous places. For those who require any refreshments, we do have a small saloon bar on board. It's down there where you'll find things. In any time they serve you a small variety of hot drinks, soft drinks, alcoholic drinks, and a few light snacks. You're more than welcome to take your drinks and anything else away from the bar, but if we can ask you please to use the bins provided in the saloon area, very little you may have is very much appreciated. And for those who require the toilets, they can be found at the back of the saloon area in the shape of 2 galvanised buckets. Also, the pink one is for the ladies. Now, the pink bucket can be found behind the bar area. The blue bucket for gents who have the opposite side of the vessel underneath the stairs. Once you have finished these buckets, we can ask you please to empty them out over the side of the vessel, checking the wind direction first. We wouldn't like any more accidents to happen today. So the last thing I do need to point out is this vessel's a non-smoking vessel. So unfortunately for those who do smoke, you will have to wait until you get to Brixham in roughly about 20 minutes time before you can have a cigarette. So the best of luck to you. Now on our way across the bay today, I will be pointing out some 1 or 2 places of interest, and any more I'll be lucky enough to see. If you have any questions, please don't refrain to approach one of the crew. There's 3 of us on the boat here somewhere. 4 of us, sorry. Now we'll do our very best to answer any questions or queries we may have, but if you answer something we don't know, we are all good at making stuff up. Now one of the first places of interest is actually the harbour we just left. Torquay Harbour is the newest of the 3 harbours in Torbay. It was only built back in 1870 by Lawrence Polk. Now he was the first Baron Holden, who Holden Pier was named after. If you look behind the left-hand side, you can see Holden Pier leading up to that large building with a black netting over the top. That being the Living Coast Marine Wildlife tourist attraction. Very popular with our visitors and locals alike. It's affiliated with Paignton Zoo. Now the harbour itself was used many years ago for the importation of coal from Australia. Nowadays, the main trade in there is catering of about 400 small yachts and motor cruises on their moorings. They also hold up to about 8 or 9 different passenger carrying vessels during the summer months as well. Now Torquay itself was actually mainly visited by Roman soldiers, but the first permanent habitation was the Saxon settlement known as Tor. This is part of Torquay known as Tor to this day. The earliest known residence was Jawbone at Leeds, being discovered by a team of archaeologists, and that bone was readily dated to be some 450,000 years of age. If you look behind us on the right hand side now, you see Tor Abbey Sands. Very popular, being a long, sloping, sandy beach that makes bathing safe at all stages of time. In behind the beach is Tor Abbey Meadow, another nice place during the summer months to while away a few hours. We also have the fair down there 3 weeks of the year, and other small events happen down there as well. There in amongst the trees behind us on the right hand side, you'll see the Tor Abbey. And to the left that you'll see the Spanish Barn. The Spanish Barn was built many years ago, when this country was actually trading wine with Spain. Nowadays you can actually hire out the Spanish Barn for wedding receptions, corporate parties. It was actually where the Tourism Awards Tournament was held last season. This company did really well in both categories it was nominated for. It got silver in both of them, and one of them was actually for sustainable tourism. On the beach on the right hand side is Preston Sands, another more popular beach in this area. You see it's got several big churches behind. Now, you won't actually be able to count how many beach huts there is today. They are 2 abreast, and there is about in the region of about 400 of those small beach huts in that one area. On the inside is a couple more large breeds, which is very sheltered from all the winds in this area. Very popular during the summer months. They do have a very nice small cafe / restaurant down there, which is called the Boats House, and across the road a very nice little pub called Captain Jack's. Now the large building on the right hand side is the Red Cliff Hotel. It's one of the more popular hotels in this area, and it was lived in many years ago by Isaac Singer. That's the singer sewing industry. The town on the right hand side is Paynton. It's a town mentioned in the Domesday Book that was settled around the year 700. The word itself means farmer famous people. Now having over 30 spelling variations by the time Queen Victoria's crown. We're now passing the end of Paynton's famous pier, reaching a 240 metres out to sea. The large pink project you can see today is a Kidman baseball slide. To the left of that is a series of large trampolines. They also have a small bouncy castle and a small inflatable rocker boats in there as well. Now the pier itself wasn't actually open to the public until June 1979. During the wars, the middle part of the pier was actually taken down to prevent the landing of German E-boats. If you actually go down to the beach or to the pier and look at the base of it and the supports, you will realise the middle bit is completely different. This is due to when the pier was actually put into storage during the wars. It was actually put in a damp location, and during over the years of the storage of it rusted out and had to be replaced. At the end of the pier is a large green where the Beer Man Festival takes place on a Wednesday night. Beer Man standards and bikers make a difference. Starting a few years ago, it's a small impromptu bike show. And that's all it is on Wednesday night these days. A small gathering of about 1,000 bikers. The main gathering is the first bank holiday weekend of May. The bikers come from all over the southwest, put on a show, and raise funds with the most of the local charities and the BMAG group itself. They can have anything upwards of about 20,000 different bikers over that one weekend. The green also holds the fair, the small Wild Mouse roller coaster. Has a circus over there a couple of times a year. And last season we had the small donkeys down there for donkey rides, and this year I think they've got penciled in to have some more trampolines down. The Balamory curved buildings on our right hand side, down on the seafront, there are small bed and breakfasts and hotels. And to the left of that you'll see the low seawalls of Paignton Harbour. Now Paignton Harbour is the oldest of the harbours here in Torbay, originally built to have large coal carrying vessels land alongside. Nowadays though it's a heavily tidal harbour, unlike Brixham and Torbay. You can't get in there at low tide. It does actually drive to nothing. At the low tides, you can actually see some of the old ruins of the original Roman harbour that stood there many years ago. They are made of permeable sandstone. They are from the Triassic period, and they do mark a halfway point of our journey across to Brixham. The large white building on top today is an old people's home. It was lived in many years ago by a very famous Dutch family, and that was the Vandenberg. They actually brought margarine across this country. The beach on our right hand side is Gibraltar Sands, one of the more popular beaches in this area. It's also home to a number of the railway stations on that Paignton to Kingswell Steam railway line. The train goes from Paignton, which is a Queen's Park station. It's one of the main stations on that line. It does have a very large gift shop and a small cafe. It stops off at Gibraltar Sands, Churston, Greenmay Holt. And Greenmay Holt is then a 20-minute walk down through the gardens at Greenmay House, down to the Agatha Christie's last summer home. Now if we look in behind Gibraltar Sands, it's not just the beach that's of any interest down there or attraction. You can see those large greeny blue coils, which is a splashdown water park. They also have some very nice small pedal boats and bump boats and some small go-karts there as well. There's a couple of nice pubs and restaurants down there as well. If you look at behind the beach huts, you may just see the rise of the train track itself. It's from Gibraltar Sands to the next beach further along on the right hand side, which is Broadsands, where the train track runs across on top of the cliffs, giving you some spectacular views of the English Riviera. If you do go on the train, it's well worth taking the camera with you. There is some spectacular views of whether it's the coastline or when you get further down to Kingswell, when you get out the side of the River Dart. There is some spectacular views. Now if you look in behind Broadsands, if you look very closely at the trees, it's going to be difficult this time of day due to the reflection of the sun off the sea. But you may just see a large grey stone viaduct. That's Broadsands Viaduct. It's one of the 3 viaducts the train goes across. These were originally built by King de Brunel to carry the Great Western Railway from Pantown and Survey to Kingswell. If you do go on the steam train at any time over the next week or so, if you're down here on holiday, you will still notice the carriages are still painted with colours of chocolate and cream from the Great Western Railway. That does pay to keep your eye on some of the coaches we make our way across the bay. We often see a steam train along that stretch of coast. National Deepwater Harbour. It was formed many years ago by the erosion of sandstone between the Arms and Island limestone taken out into the sea. If you look ahead on our left hand side, that large point down you can see, that's Berry Head. And over on our left hand side you'll see 2 large rocks. That's the Orstone and Thatcher Rock. These 2 points actually mark the limits of the harbour here at Torbay. It's about 3 miles from the shore. On the right hand side, that's that limit. If you go past that limit, you then enter back into Lyme Bay, which is all part of the western approaches of the English Channel. The English Channel these days is by definition the largest, busiest, mine's gone back now. One of the largest and busiest waterways in the world. There we go. Come back to me. It's been a long day. Now we just do see large vessels in the distance. The waterways and the channel is more closer to the French coastline. When you get large vessels coming into the harbour where we're in today, they come in here to wait out orders, to wait out periods of bad weather, give their crew and passengers some short time. Over the Eastern holidays, we actually had about 7 large vessels anchored in Torbay, sheltering from the bad weather that was bearing up the channel. We do see large cruise ships in coast as well, giving their crew and passengers some short time. But the main large vessels we do see in coast are car carriers. When they come up the English Channel, they come close towards Bury Head to drop off and pick up any other channel pilots. As they so far they go up the channel before they have to stop off and have a rest. The one comes ashore and lands a few hours rest and then waits for the next vessel to get the channel behind. Now, if we look on top of Bury Head, you see there's not much on top today. That large building you see is a Coast Guard lookout watch. You will be more surprised to know that Bury Head is actually home to a lighthouse. It is actually home to Britain's shortest lighthouse and the shortest, because it is only 5 metres tall, but at the same time, it's the highest, and it does stand 58 metres above sea level. At one time it had the accolade of being the deepest. The Oxford was originally turned by a weight, one down at 45 metres each down. Though nowadays they do have an electric motor. It does shine slightly for 24 nautical miles out to sea. You can clearly see today the extent of the old quarry workings as well. Iron ore was quarried from there, being under contract to the board pads on the Dagenham, sent by Coaster. The small key just about the other ones there today. Nowadays, though, it's disused quarry. Quarrying was deceased back in the 1940s when it was feared if they quarried much more in the cliff away, the fort on top would come crashing down, never to be seen again. So the quarry is mainly used these days by the shore fishermen, being the location where gaining access to the deep water by the use of a boat. Just to give you a rough idea, the change in depth between here and Bury Head. At present, we only have about 32 feet of water to leave the boat. But at any state of tide going, those have some very lucrative contracts. They have just signed a very lucrative contract with Sainsbury's as well. The part of the bay we're now in itself is actually known as the Brixham Road. It's approaching the town of Brixham, originally known as Saxon settlement known as Brioxtown. Now, fishing has been a major industry in Brixham for over 900 years, and one time just off the farm being called the mother of port of trawling, as it was the home base of the famous Brixham sailing trawlers. Most of these being designed and built over the hill camp on the River Dart, and they have themselves actually built here at Brixham. They were designed so successfully that it didn't change the face of the fishing industry. Up until that point, fishing was only done by long line or hand line. The Brixham sailing trawlers are the first of the fishing smacks to be built solidly enough to withstand the forces of trawling on the sail. Of course, that great strength leads to great stability. That's for that reason many of them are still in existence today. Although none of them actually do any fishing, they do operate out of Brixham, this sail training the vessels. The main ones you see in this area are the Vigilant, Pilgrim, Leader, Providence, and the Golden Vanity. If you look ahead of us down at the end of the fairway, to the left-hand side of those flats, you can just see the large grey hull vessel and the large black hull vessel. That's just the Vigilant and the Pilgrim. You get a slightly better view as you make your way down the fairway. As you are much closer to Brixham, you maybe recognise that it's Fish Town, the TV series, and it's famed for white fish. And then the trawlers are now refitted as shellfish and Scotch dredgers. By 1850, Brixham was the largest fishery in England, having over 270 vessels at sea. I think probably more than 1,600 seamen. And that did continue up until the First World War. One of the men's toll was taken on the men and vessels, so by 1939 there was less than half of them remaining. Back there, after the war, the industry recovered. Eventually modern fish market was opened back in 1970, which was expanded back in 1986. And recently redeveloped and modernised, and that's the large fish keep you see ahead of us on our right hand side. You see some of the old beach trawlers ahead of us. Those large beach trawlers go out to sea maybe between 8 and 10 days at a time. And just for that round trip, some of them have to fuel about 40,000 litres of fuel. Brixham have just become the second largest profitable port in the UK. They're only second to Peterhead up in Scotland. It's not the quantity, it's actually the quality of the fish that gets landed back on the Fish King. And most of it can be found locally, and some of it is actually sold locally on the market here as well. Over to you see we're coming down the fairway, we're going to be alongside the pontoon in a few moments time at the end of the trip. So those to you, stopping point for some of you. Now, some of you are returning back to Torquay today. You have a choice of return time. We should be leaving now. Well, as you can see, we are running slightly late. There's two further sailings today. There'll be one at 4:20-ish, and then 5:30-ish. The probably will be slightly later due to us running late, but if you'll make sure you're back here for 4:20 and 5:30, they're your last two return sailings this afternoon. If you do this at 5:30, you have a choice of return options. There's a nice 8.5 mile walk around the coast. A number 12 bus, one of my personal favourite, it's a nice 3 3/4 miles, nice cold, long, wet swim. The choice is entirely yours. Now I know which I prefer, and I'll make sure I'm back at 5:30 to get the last boat. I just want to say thank you on behalf of our room boats, the Westleigh Freight Service, and the crew that ventured to cover us today. We do hope you enjoyed some. I do hope you enjoyed the commentary. Most of it was true. If you have enjoyed yourself today, we'd like to show your appreciation, and has been the custom for many years, of the placing of a skipper's hat on the seat by the gangway. Of course, everything's done there is purely voluntary, but please do not feel obligated in any way. So if anything is put there, it's greatly received, and even amongst the crew. Heavily taxing against those pirates up at Westminster. And just made you ask, as we come alongside the pontoon whilst I perform the controlled crash boat maneuver, if you are seated, please stay seated. If you're standing, please hold something or someone, preferably someone you know. So I'll leave that up to you whilst I perform the controlled crash boat maneuver. Very much appreciated. And once you are safe alongside, we'll let you stay to this car. Thanks for those joining us now. Thank you very much for travelling today. Come back and see us again in the not too distant future. We know it may not be this year, so we take the time to wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And when you disembark the vessel, you're going to be disembarking from the back left. The back left, not the front right that you joined us in Torquay. So if you are going through the saloon area, again, please be very careful and clearly mark your hazards as you walk through the saloon area. Thank you very much, and bye-bye for now.